I want to talk about our eviction moratorium. I know we have been anxious to come up with a definitive position on this. We know that the COVID pandemic had huge economic ramifications. We have had an eviction moratorium that has kept people from homelessness. I'm proud of the things we've done to protect families from homelessness during the COVID pandemic. That's why I put the eviction moratorium in place last year. The current one is set to expire June 30th. Today I'm announcing a bridge proclamation. This will transition our state from the eviction moratorium previously in place, and it will provide a bridge for Washington families until we effectively get into place the protection against eviction systems that were passed by the legislature but will not be effectuated for some period of time. So this is going to include not only the additional money, hundreds of millions of dollars that the legislature will provide to families and landlords to solve this problem, but as well as the protection of the bridge proclamation that I am announcing today. Now that money is a combination of federal assistance and state that has been appropriated for rental assistance directly to tenants and to landlords to help them across these troubled economic times. The bridge starts July 1st. It runs through September 30th this year. Now there's several reasons for this order, if I can take a moment to describe this plan. More than $650 million have been available of federal funds, but they're not available today because the legislature has to get this system set up. This is in addition to the $500 million that has previously been released by the Department of Commerce. That went to local governments to help for rental assistance programs, and it provides help for 80,000 landlords and tenants. To be clear, local governments have a difficult task in processing these claims, but they're involved in it now, and they're working hard to get this done in a timely fashion. But this bridge is necessary to protect against homelessness for people while these plans are put into implementation. Additionally, the legislature passed Senate Bill 5160. That provides many tenant protections and programs designed to protect against the impacts of the COVID pandemic. These programs, however, are not yet up and running. So that includes the Eviction Resolution Pilot Program and the right to counsel for individual tenants. So we're looking forward to getting those plans actually implemented. So we're putting a bridge into place until these funds can actually be available and until these programs of protection against homelessness actually are up and running. So the details are going to be on the website here in a few moments, but I just want to go through how this will work. These funds and programs I described will be available in every county, and this extension is a bridge that will support both tenants and landlords during this transitional period. Now, this is not an extension of the existing moratorium. It has several new provisions that I want to go over. So here's the highlights of the bridge plan. And there's kind of two parts of this. First is past due rent that has accrued but not been paid before now, and then rent going forward. For past rent due from February 29th, 2020 through June 30th of this year, landlords are prohibited from evicting a tenant until there is an operational rental assistance program and eviction resolution program in place in their county. In addition, for the past rent that is owed, landlords are prohibited from treating any unpaid rent or other charges as an enforceable debt until the landlord and tenant have been provided with an opportunity to resolve non-payment of rental claims through an eviction resolution pilot program that we are now standing up. Now, going forward, for rent that will accrue after that period, starting on August 1st, renters are expected to make full payment or pay less than full rent if they negotiate a lesser amount with their landlord, or actively seek rental assistance. So for rent going forward, tenants are going to be required to take certain actions that I just described. If a renter is taking any of these actions, a landlord will not be able to evict the tenant for that forthcoming rental obligation. However, if a tenant is not paying or isn't trying to obtain rental assistance from the funds that have been appropriated, a landlord can take any lawful action allowed by law, with one exception, and that is landlords must offer the tenant a reasonable repayment plan before starting the eviction process. Tenants must also be provided in writing the services and supports available to them. And I'm also removing certain types of housing from the order altogether, including hotels, motels, Airbnbs, long-term care facilities, and other non-traditional housing. Now, I've just shared a lot of information with you. You may have some more questions, and Jim is available on the call here to field some of your technical questions, and they are on our site with all the technicalities involved on this. I think these are reasonable steps to provide a bridge to the fully functioning programs that the legislature fashioned. They're fair, I think, both to tenants and landlords. Both have had economic difficulty during this period of time. And I think these are very thoughtful and comprehensive approaches that we have been able to fashion with the advice for many, many people to get us through these turbulent waters until we are in a much better economic place. And I'm glad we're going to be able to do that.